And we are back, YouTube, with the AI Day test loop in Los Altos, California here. And this is kind of attempt number 2. I'm going to just label which attempts these are so you can keep track of them over time and highlight anything that, you know, happens of interest on a drive. So we're going to enable FSD. No cars around us, so we should just easily go out here into the middle of the street. A little bit close to those garbage cans. And again, this is this red area where it really shouldn't be going into this part of the lane. So again, in 11.4, I'd love to see if there's a change there and it, you know, stays in the lane appropriately. Okay, we're going up here to make a left turn. And one thing I've noticed too, there's a fire station here on the left, and you'll see on the ground here there's markings, do not block. Another thing I'd like to see improved is that, you know, the vehicle would respect those markings on the ground. There's also a sign on the right that says do not block. But if there were 2 cars here already, you know, with FSD on, it's gonna just go right behind those cars and block, you know, the fire station. And I view that as one of those things that really needs to get fixed, because first, it's illegal, and second, it's you know, a safety issue if there was a fire truck that needed to get, you know, out of the fire station there. So, you know, improving its recognition of those kind of scenarios and markings on the ground and signs, and knowing that it shouldn't be in that part of the roadway would be great for a future build as well. So you can see I'm leaving the camera on too, so I'd love the comments if you like seeing the camera, the side repeater cameras, or if you want me to turn those off in settings so we don't see them. So we need to take a different route here, so let me see if I can get it to do it. Yeah, so I didn't realize there it hadn't chosen the correct route, so I just updated that route selection. Now that time, if you watched the last video, that time it was much smoother getting over into that lane, so that was good. There wasn't traffic like there was last time. Maybe it was also because I had to adjust the route a little bit late there, but that time much smoother. Let me know in the comments too if you'd like me to fast forward through these sections where we're just sitting. You know, I've watched a lot of FSD videos myself, and sometimes I appreciate when there's the fast forwarding. Sometimes I just want to see the raw footage to see what the car's doing. So give me your feedback. I'm happy to do it either way, but just let me know what you'd prefer. Super interesting intersection there as well. There's lots of different forks and different you know, ways that cars go. So car did really well there accelerating. Okay, so a pretty fast, you know, hard stop. Actually, the car rolled back a little bit there. That was kind of weird. I've never seen a stop like that, but I'd like to see it stop sooner for those pedestrians than what it did there. But when we came to a stop there, I don't know if you could see it in the video, we actually came to such a hard stop that the car actually seemed to roll back a little bit. I don't know if that was just, you know, the feeling of the car, but super interesting. I think we'll be able to hit this light up here with that red light behavior that I mentioned in the last video. We'll see if the timing works out. Okay, like there, you know, we kind of both came to the to the stop sign at the same time. So I'd like to see the car just be a little bit more aggressive through stop signs. Okay, so here's the spot where I've seen it stop all over the place. I've seen it stop further back. You see it now says stopping for traffic light, and then it moves forward. This right here, I'd like to see the car move forward a little bit more so that it's not in the back of the crosswalk there. But actually, that was some of the best behavior I've seen. It looked like it was originally going to stop before the crosswalk. It got to the crosswalk, then it moved forward further, and then it waited for the cars that were on this 45-mile-an-hour street. Often cars on this street are going 50, 55 or more. So it is a good test scenario going from like a city street of 25 downtown area to an expressway. So this route actually has a lot of kind of interesting features to it. Here, you know, this is where a human driver would just kind of move right through that intersection. Not too bad. And it was just going to go through that red light. A vehicle was going to go right through a red light. So, wow. You know, big safety issue there. The interesting thing about that red light is last year when I had my Model X, I've had that experience at that red light a number of times. And I don't know what it is about that light or that distancing or scenario or what it's seeing. I'll have to pay more attention to see if it's picking up a green light or something. But I let it go as far as I felt comfortable before I slammed on the brakes, because to me it was just gonna go right through that light at significant speed. So we'll just keep an eye on that light, but that was definitely a serious safety intervention that I needed to take. Okay, we got pedestrians on the left or on the right here. So we'll put in the next nav, just paying attention to them before I do. You know, definitely handling pedestrians really, really well on these builds, especially compared to 10.69 or before, where it was just super, you know, really hard braking, what I would call phantom braking around pedestrians. Now it's really smooth around pedestrians. So again, creeping forward, right now is when I would feel comfortable turning right, because I was looking to the left around a bush, and it did it perfectly. Timing on that is really, really good. So again, this is one of the most challenging parts of this drive, where we need to cross 4 lanes of traffic. Cross traffic's moving at 35 miles an hour. Often, well, that's the speed limit, often more, 40 or 45. And we need to creep up to this limit to be able to see to the left and a little bit to the right. So to the left, it's open. There is nobody here. There's a pedestrian across the street that we're waiting for. Now we should go if we are going to go. A human probably would have gone right there, but it waited for this white car. If I was driving the car, I would have crossed at that moment, but the car decided to wait. I think that's okay. Okay, so now the pedestrian is crossing the street and blocking the side traffic. So we should be able to go right now. As a human, I would have gone there. But again, we're not, so we'll just keep waiting. Lots of pedestrians. We are blocking the crosswalk, which in this case is the appropriate thing to do, because you know, we can't get across the street unless we look around the corner. As a human driver, you'd have to come up into the crosswalk to be able to go across this road. Now we got lots of pedestrians, some going around us, behind us, some going in front of us, as we saw. But this is the appropriate spot to be. It's just one of those streets where you have to pull far enough forward for visibility and to see. Okay, we'll see if we'll go. We should go right now if we're gonna go. Nope, now there's traffic on the left. And that's what's about this street right here. It's just a challenging street because there's so many pedestrians, so much traffic. Now we should definitely go. Okay, a little bit hesitant there to get started, and I'd like to see it go faster across the street. A Model Y behind us, probably a little bit frustrated. Although as a human driver, that was a tough scenario. So it, you know, I would say, you know, that was a fine handling of that scenario. A human driver might have taken a little bit more risk in a couple of those openings, but a really dynamic intersection with 4 lanes of traffic having to cross, and pedestrians and all sorts of scenarios. Comes to really slow stop here because the right hand side is really hard to see around the corner. Right now is about the time I could see if there were any pedestrians walking around that corner. So it's really creeping there and going slow around that corner to look for pedestrians that might be on this sidewalk. Got a dog on off leash, so I'm just paying attention there just to make sure nothing happens with that dog. Okay, and we'll put in the last destination here. Handled that pedestrian really well. Again, that's something that I think's greatly improved, handling pedestrian situations there, where it just smoothly knows that the pedestrian's continuing on and we're going to go around to the right. Where in previous experiences that I had last year or the year before, it would, maybe brake very fast, kind of be very awkward around pedestrians. Okay, full NHTSA stop at 0 and almost back to the beginning of our loop. So I think this drive was, quite interesting with that red light. I'll do it again to see if we can come upon that red light and if it tries to go through it. I submitted the recording to Tesla, so hopefully that feedback helps improve those scenarios. But that's one of those things that is the basic functionality. It obviously needs to be aware of and respect the traffic signals, and I don't know what goes on at that intersection that causes problems. So it'll be interesting to see if we can recreate that, and I'll just be extra observant. I was, like I mentioned, I had seen similar behavior last year, so I do pay very close attention, always paying close attention, but extra attention to that kind of turn because I've seen it demonstrate that kind of weird behavior with that stoplight before. Okay, waited for our turn. Other than that one issue and disengagement, another really good drive this time. I think it actually in a lot of ways better than the first attempt at this drive. Other than that one red light issue, it was much smoother, much more decisive, and felt really good about all parts of this drive other than that red light. Again, here you see the red area on the ground and the white line that we should be, staying out of that area, but the car, does go into it. Last thing I'd love to see in betas as well is pull over to the curb. We're just stopping in the middle of the road, so I'll manually disengage and pull us over to the curb because we're at our destination. And again, yeah, give feedback, like, and comment if these videos are useful. And if you'd like to see anything else, love to hear that as well. Have a great day.